If you're still trading hours for dollars, you're playing the wrong game. That's not just a quote, it's a warning. Have you ever wondered why you're working harder than ever, putting in long hours, but your financial situation barely changes? Why some people can do something once and keep getting paid for it forever? The answer isn't in how much they work, it's in how they think. Poor people think in hours. Rich people think in outcomes. Poor people ask, how much do I make per hour? How many hours can I work to earn more? Will overtime help me get ahead? Rich people ask, what lasting value does this action create? Can I build something once that pays me forever? How can I turn this effort into something that scales without me? The difference isn't in intelligence, it's in the mindset. And once you change the way you think, you change everything you do. This video won't teach you how to get rich overnight, but it will do something far more powerful. It will wake you up from the loop of work, spend, exhaust, repeat. Because you weren't born to sell off the most precious thing you own, your time. You were born to create outcomes that outlive the clock. The invisible trap of time for money. You were never taught to think like an owner. You were trained to think like a laborer. From the moment you entered school, you were taught to follow a schedule. Line up at 8, raise your hand to speak, wait for the bell to go home. And when you finally graduated, what did you do? You looked for a job, so you could trade your hours for money. That's not a flaw, it's the design. Society conditions you to believe that time equals value. The more time you give, the more you deserve. So you grow up chasing paychecks instead of creating leverage. You measure your worth in hours, not impact. This is the trap. The hourly lie you inherited. You were told, get a good job with good hourly pay. Work overtime, that's how you'll get ahead. Don't waste time, every hour matters. Sounds wise, but it's a prison in disguise. Because no matter how high your hourly rate goes, there will always be a ceiling. You only have 24 hours in a day. You can't outwork time. So if you're playing a game based on selling hours, you've already lost. And worse, it feels normal. Everyone around you is doing the same thing, so you never question it. But let me ask you something dangerous, something radical. What if time shouldn't be the way you earn? What if your income could be based on value, results, and systems instead? The loop of working just to survive. Let's be brutally honest. Most people wake up, go to work, come home tired, and repeat. They're stuck in survival, not because they're lazy, but because their thinking is capped by the time for money trap. Here's what that loop looks like. Work, get paid, spend, run out, work again. There is no scaling, no building, no legacy. And even when they try to escape, to start a side hustle or invest, they often bring the same hourly mindset with them. They ask, how much time will this take? Instead of, what will this create in the long run? The result? They stay exhausted, they stay poor. Not from lack of effort, but from lack of vision. Why you must think differently now. This is your moment to break the pattern. Because here's the truth. Time is fixed. Results are unlimited. Once you see the trap, you have a choice. You can keep trading your time for temporary pay, or you can start creating outcomes that pay you whether you work or not. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. What matters is where you shift your focus. Because wealthy people don't think, how can I make $100 today? They think, how can I build something once that makes $100 a day forever? That shift changes everything. In the next part, we'll dive into the hourly wage mentality and why it's not just limiting your income, it's limiting your future. The hourly wage mentality. You've probably heard this question 1,000 times. What's your hourly rate? It sounds harmless, but beneath it lies one of the most dangerous financial mindsets: the belief that your value equals your time. This is the hourly wage mentality. It's the way poor and middle-class minds have been trained to think. Time equals money. More time equals more money. Therefore, the only way to earn more is to work more. This logic feels safe, it feels familiar, but it's a cage. The chains you don't see. When you think in hourly terms, everything becomes a calculation of input over output. If I work 8 hours, I make $80. If I work overtime, I'll make $120. If I take a second job, I'll survive the bills. But here's the truth most people never confront. You are still trading the one thing you can never get back, your time, for the one thing you always need more of, money. That's a losing formula, because no matter how many hours you work, you can't scale your time. You can't multiply your presence. You can't duplicate yourself. And so you hit a wall, a hard, immovable ceiling where your income is chained to your hours. That's why poor people are always busy, always working, and always tired, but rarely free. Emotional weight of hourly thinking. The hourly mindset doesn't just drain your bank account, it drains your soul. You start calculating everything in terms of how long it takes, instead of what it's worth. You delay your dreams because they don't pay immediately. You reject opportunities because they don't come with a clock-in system. You don't start your own business because what if it doesn't pay this week? You become a slave to short-term certainty. But here's the twist. That certainty is an illusion. Hourly jobs can vanish. Companies can fold. Injuries, illnesses, or layoffs can steal your income in an instant. If all you have is your hours, you're one bad day away from starting over. How this mentality is installed. Where does it come from? Why do so many people think this way? Because it was taught to you. From a young age, you were conditioned to obey the bell, sit at a desk, wait for permission, follow the clock. School didn't teach you to create outcomes. It taught you to follow schedules. You weren't trained to think like a builder. You were trained to become an employee. And now, even when you try to dream bigger, a voice inside whispers, "Be realistic. How much will it pay per hour?" That voice isn't yours. It's inherited, but you've carried it long enough. It's time to break the mental contract. You don't need more hours in the day. You need a new model of thinking. What if instead of calculating how long something takes, you calculated how much value it produces? What if your time stopped being the product and became the fuel? You are not an hourly worker. You are a value creator. You are not a clock puncher. You are a system builder. But nothing changes until your mindset does. In the next part, we'll dive into why effort does not equal impact and how this one misunderstanding keeps millions stuck in low-value work for life. Why effort does not equal impact. You've been told your whole life, work hard and you'll succeed. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Hard work doesn't guarantee anything, especially not wealth. In fact, it can keep you broke if you don't understand how value works. Because in the real world, effort doesn't equal impact. Time doesn't equal value. Activity doesn't equal achievement. The mistake most people make. Let's break it down. Poor and middle-class people often equate working hard with getting ahead. They believe, the more hours I put in, the more I deserve. If I'm exhausted, I must be doing something right. Success is just one more all-nighter away. Meanwhile, the rich know something different. It's not how hard you work, it's what your work actually does. Let that sink in. You can spend 12 hours lifting bricks and get paid $100. Or you can spend 1 hour writing a high-converting sales page and earn $10,000 over and over again. Same planet, same time, completely different outcomes. Effort without leverage is just labor. There's a word for effort without direction: struggle. You can grind for decades and still be poor. Why? Because effort without leverage is like pouring water into a bucket with a hole. You'll sweat, you'll hustle, but nothing compounds. The rich focus on leverage, not labor. They ask, how can I get this done with less effort and more scale? How can I multiply this result without multiplying my time? How can I turn this into an asset that works even when I don't? Meanwhile, the poor stay focused on input. How much can I do today? How busy can I stay? How tired can I feel so I know I tried hard enough? The result? They stay exhausted but not effective. Stop worshiping sweat. Hard work is noble, but it's not the goal. If effort was the only path to success, every construction worker would be a millionaire. Every nurse would be financially free. Every delivery driver would own empires. But that's not how the world works, because the world doesn't reward sweat, it rewards solutions. It doesn't pay you for hours, it pays you for outcomes. So the question you must ask is not, how hard am I working? But instead, what is my work actually creating? The danger of staying busy. Staying busy is seductive. It feels like progress, but busyness is often just a distraction from real growth. You fill your days with tasks, errands, responsibilities, but nothing builds, nothing compounds, nothing scales. And the worst part is, you feel like you're doing your best, but you're just spinning in place. Rich people build things that continue working long after they've stopped touching them. Poor people stay stuck in work that stops the moment they do. That's the difference. It's time to redefine what work means. You have to stop equating pain with progress. You have to stop chasing exhaustion like it's a badge of honor. You have to stop thinking that more hours equal more worth. From this point forward, ask yourself, does this action move me closer to freedom? Will this still pay me a year from now? Am I building something or just surviving? Because until you shift from effort to impact, you'll always be tired and never free. The outcome mindset, a different game. There's a reason you feel like you're always behind, no matter how hard you try. It's because you've been playing the wrong game, with the wrong rules, on the wrong field. You were taught to compete in a world where success is measured by how many hours you show up. But the wealthy? They don't play that game. They play the outcome game. And that changes everything. The key question rich people ask. Poor people ask, how much am I getting paid to do this? Rich people ask, what result does this action produce now and in the future? See the difference? One focuses on effort, the other focuses on leverage. One asks what they can earn today, the other asks what they can build once and get paid for repeatedly. That is the outcome mindset. Outcome thinkers don't work for money, they build value. Let's say you write a book. You don't get paid for the hours you spent writing. You get paid for how well that book solves a problem and how many people it reaches. Same thing with a digital course, a mobile app, a YouTube channel, a piece of software, a system, process, or service that runs without you. You create it once, you distribute it smart, and you get paid over and over again. That's not magic, that's thinking in outcomes. Why most people can't see this game? Most people are stuck in the labor loop. Do, get paid, stop, repeat. They've never been shown another way. They don't even know they're allowed to think differently. So when they see someone making money while sleeping, they say, "That must be luck. They had help. It's a scam." But what they're really saying is, "I don't understand that game, so I assume it's fake." They're trapped not by their job, but by their perspective. The outcome mindset is invisible to people who believe time is their only asset. But here's the truth. Time is your starting point. Outcome is your exit strategy. Real-world examples of outcome thinking. Let's make it real. A graphic designer thinking hourly asks, "How much will I charge per project?" But an outcome thinker says, "I'll create a design template package and sell it to thousands online." A teacher with hourly thinking says, "I get paid per class I teach." An outcome thinker says, "I'll record this course once and license it to platforms worldwide." A contractor with hourly thinking works job to job. An outcome thinker builds a team, creates a process, and scales a business. Do you see it now? Same skills, different mindset, radically different life. Outcome mindset builds wealth even while you sleep. This is how wealthy people become free. They stop measuring what their work pays today and start focusing on what their creation can earn tomorrow, next month, and next year. They ask, "Can this result exist without me? Can it be duplicated or sold again? Does this build a system or just pay a bill?" That is the mindset that leads to financial freedom. Not working more, not working harder, but thinking wider. Your first step into the outcome game. It doesn't matter what you do for work. You can shift your mindset starting right now by asking just one question. What am I building? If the answer is nothing, then it's time to start. Because the moment you begin thinking in outcomes, you stop selling your hours and you start building your future. Time is fixed. Value is infinite. There's one brutal truth you can't escape. Time is fixed. Value is infinite. You have 24 hours in the day. So does every billionaire. So does every broke person. The difference isn't how many hours they work. It's what they do with those hours. Time has a hard ceiling. Value doesn't. Let's break this down. No matter how hard you work, you will always hit the wall of time. You can't work 25 hours a day. You can't clone yourself to show up in 2 places at once. You can't hustle past the physical limits of exhaustion. But value? Value can scale to infinity. You can create something once and serve 1 million people. You can press upload once and reach the entire planet. You can write one sentence, one idea, one offer that changes your income forever. That's the difference. Poor people stay focused on what they can give per hour. Rich people stay focused on what they can create that grows without them. The wealthy don't work more, they multiply more. Most people think the rich are lucky or born into it, but if you study them closely, you'll see the pattern. They build once, they distribute forever. They don't chase hours, they chase amplification. Here's what that looks like. A writer creates a book once and earns royalties for life. A developer builds an app once and sells it to millions. An entrepreneur records a course and licenses it to schools and businesses. They don't ask, "How long will this take?" They ask, "How far can this go?" Stop thinking like a worker. Start thinking like a builder. Most people are trained to spend time. Very few are trained to invest time. Spending time means doing something that pays once. Investing time means doing something that keeps paying long after you stop. Let me be clear. Cooking dinner is spending time. Writing a cookbook is investing time. Driving for a rideshare is spending time. Building the app that powers rideshares is investing time. Teaching one-on-one is spending time. Creating a learning platform is investing time. This is the real shift. You can't make more time, but you can turn time into something that grows while you sleep. That's leverage. That's freedom. That's wealth. The trap of thinking too small. When your mind is stuck on hours, your thinking stays small. What can I earn today? What's the quickest way to make $100? How do I fill my schedule? But when your mind expands to outcomes, your vision expands with it. What can I build that outlives me? What can I launch once and earn from forever? How do I serve more people with less effort? Poor people stay local with their time. Rich people go global with their value. Time is a seed, not a salary. If you treat time like a paycheck, you'll always be broke. But if you treat time like a seed, you can grow an orchard. 1 hour of smart thinking can save you a year of struggle. 1 hour of building the right asset can replace a lifetime of labor. But most people never pause long enough to see this. They're too busy surviving to start designing. You don't need more time. You need to use your time to create something that gives back. Because value has no ceiling, but your life does. From labor to leverage. Let's be clear. Hard work is not the enemy, but staying stuck in hard work is. There comes a point in every journey where more labor won't get you further. You don't need to push harder. You need to push smarter with leverage. That's the quiet secret of wealth. The rich don't just work harder, they work in ways that amplify every effort. They move from labor to systems to scale, decreasing the limits of labor. Labor is honest. Labor is noble. But labor has a problem. It depends on you showing up. If you get sick, the income stops. If you rest, the revenue pauses. If you quit, everything collapses. This is how most people live. They exchange effort for income. When effort ends, income ends. So they keep working and working and working. It's survival on a hamster wheel. It doesn't matter how fast you run, you're still inside the cage. Repeating leverage. So what is leverage? Leverage means you do something once, and it continues to produce results without you. It can look like a YouTube video that gets views while you sleep, an email sequence that sells a product on autopilot, a rental property that earns income month after month, a team that executes your vision while you focus on strategy, code, content, contracts, or systems that replace you. Leverage is working smarter, not just harder. It's when you stop being the engine and start building the machine. GXO, the 4 types of leverage. People, hire others, build teams, delegate execution. Capital, use money to earn more money. Investments, advertising, funding growth. Technology, automate processes, create digital products, use tools to scale. Content, write, film, design once, let it work forever. This is the digital asset class of the 21st century. Poor people use none of these. They rely on one resource only, their own time. Rich people stack leverage, and that's why their results compound. End of break. Let's simplify it. There are 3 tiers of work. Which one are you in? Level 1, labor. You trade time for money. You stop, the income stops. Level 2, tools. You use leverage, tech, teams, systems to multiply effort. You work less, earn more. Level 3, ownership. You own the asset, the brand, the product, the IP, the distribution. It earns while you think, or rest, or grow. The poor stay in level 1 their whole lives. The middle class touch level 2 but rarely graduate. The rich live in level 3 and build from there. Brainy most people never escape labor. It's not because they're not capable. It's because no one ever taught them to think in systems, to hire before they're ready, to build once instead of perform forever, to choose the long game over the short fix. They fear risk. They fear automation. They fear stepping back, even when it's the only way to step up. And so they stay comfortable, but capped. Tools to start, even if you're broke. You don't need money to start. You need intentional thinking. Start with what you have. Turn what you know into content. Turn content into products. Turn products into systems. Turn systems into scalable freedom. Ask yourself every day, is what I'm doing today repeatable, automatable, or scalable? If the answer is no, you're still laboring, and it's time to shift. The slave of the clock. Look around. Most people don't wear chains, but they're still not free. Why? Because they live by an invisible master. They obey a silent command. They're loyal to something that quietly owns their life. That master is called the clock. You don't own your time owns you. When you think in hours, your entire life starts revolving around the ticking of a clock. You wake up when it tells you to. You eat, work, sleep, repeat, all on its terms. You measure your day in shifts, breaks, and overtime. You're not living, you're reporting to a schedule. And the worst part? You think it's normal. But it's not. It's programming, and it's stealing your future, minute by minute. The psychological prison of hourly thinking. When your income is tied to time, your identity is too. You start believing, I'm only valuable when I'm busy. If I rest, I'm falling behind. If I don't clock in, I don't deserve money. You panic when you're not working, even if you're building something bigger. You feel guilty for slowing down, even if you're thinking smarter. You confuse presence with productivity and activity with impact. This is the curse of the clock. It doesn't just take your time, it steals your imagination. You forget how to build. You forget how to dream. You forget how to live beyond the schedule. The vicious loop. Work to stay busy. The poor aren't lazy. They're often the hardest working people in society. But they're stuck in a loop. Work, rest, panic, work again. Not because they love work, but because they fear what happens if they stop. They don't trust the world to reward anything that isn't measurable by hours. They don't believe value exists without effort, and they don't know any other way. So they chase more shifts, more hours, more hustle, not because it works, but because it's the only thing they know. Real freedom isn't about having time. It's about controlling it. There's a difference between free time and freedom over time. One is what you get after working. The other is what you design before working. Rich people don't just buy watches, they buy back their time. They say, I don't do hourly work. I delegate what I don't need to do. I build assets so I can be absent and still earn. They treat time like a chessboard, not a treadmill. Every move is strategic. Every hour is either invested or automated. They don't just own minutes, they own momentum. How to escape the clock's control. If you want to stop being a slave to the clock, you have to stop worshiping it. Start asking, what can I build today that gives me time back tomorrow? How can I convert this hour into a system, not just a task? What part of my schedule is legacy building, and what part is survival maintaining? Most importantly, start measuring your day by results, not hours, because your life isn't a timesheet, it's a blueprint, and no one builds anything great by the hour. Systems that pay you forever. Let's talk about the real difference between the rich and everyone else. It's not luck. It's not hustle. It's not even knowledge. It's this. The rich don't chase income. They build systems. Systems that generate money whether they're working, sleeping, traveling, or spending time with family. This is the end game of financial freedom. Getting paid without showing up. And it starts by building something that works without you. What is a system that pays you forever? A system is not a job. It's not a side hustle. It's not trading time for tasks. A system is something that delivers value to others, runs with minimal input, scales beyond your time, creates predictable, repeatable income. In short, you build it once and it keeps working. You design it, launch it, refine it, then step back. Think about it like this. A website that sells your product automatically is a system. A YouTube channel with ads and affiliate links is a system. An online course that people buy anytime is a system. A rental property managed by someone else is a system. A team trained to operate without you is a system. Once you understand this, you stop working for money and start working on machines that make money. Why systems greater than salary? A salary ends when your presence ends. A system continues even when you're unavailable. That's why rich people don't ask, how much can I earn this week? They ask, what can I build this quarter that earns for years? This is how they buy freedom. Not by saving every penny, but by designing income that doesn't need them. A strong system can work 24/7, serve thousands, improve itself, replace your job, scale without burnout. You can't do that with hours, but you can with systems. Real-world examples, one-time work to lifetime pay. Let's make this practical. An author writes a book in 6 months. It earns royalties for 10 years. A coach builds an online program once. Thousands enrolled without him present. A programmer creates software that solves a problem and sells subscriptions monthly. A creator uploads videos that generate income for years, even after they stop posting. An entrepreneur builds a team, trains them once, and the business runs itself. None of this is fantasy. It's systems thinking. And once you start seeing the world this way, you'll never want to trade hours again. How to start building your first income system. You don't need to be a tech genius. You don't need millions of followers. You just need to shift your thinking from doer to designer. Ask yourself, what can I create once that others need repeatedly? How can I automate the delivery of that value? How can I step back while the system keeps going? You could start by turning your expertise into a downloadable product, filming content that ranks and earns passively, setting up a sales funnel that works 24/7, licensing your knowledge or tools, building a business that doesn't revolve around you. The key is this: stop starting over every morning. Start building something that remembers your work and multiplies it. Systems are the only escape from the hour trap. Think of every hour you spend without building a system as a payment you'll never see again. But every hour you invest in creating one is a brick in the foundation of your future freedom. You can be busy forever, or you can build once and be free sooner. The rich choose wisely. So can you. Replacing hours with assets. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If you're still selling your time, you don't own your life. Because every hour you trade is an hour you can't get back. And eventually, your body, your energy, your youth will run out. That's why wealthy people don't trade hours. They replace hours with assets. Assets don't sleep. Assets don't get tired. Assets don't need motivation. Assets are how the rich detach their income from their time forever. What is an asset? An asset is anything that has value, can produce income, doesn't require you to be present, can grow or multiply over time. There are many forms of assets: digital, ebooks, online courses, video content, software. Physical, real estate, inventory, machines. Intellectual, patents, frameworks, systems, licenses. Financial, stocks, crypto, royalties, dividends. Social, your brand, your audience, your reputation. The difference between rich and poor isn't access to time. It's access to scalable, income-producing assets. Time pays you once. Assets pay you forever. Let's compare. Hours. You work, you get paid. You stop working, payment stops. You repeat daily. Assets. You build, it gets paid. You improve, it scales. You step away, it keeps earning. Hours are exhausting. Assets are exponential. The poor try to earn more by working more. The rich earn more by owning more. Why you must build before you need it. The worst time to build an asset is when you're desperate. The best time is right now, even if it feels slow, even if you don't see results yet, even if you're still stuck in a 9-to-5. Why? Because when the paycheck stops, only your assets will protect you. That video you made? Still earning. That ebook you wrote? Still selling. That system you set up? Still running. Your job won't do that. Your boss won't do that. Only your assets will. The asset mindset. How to start where you are. You don't need $1 million to start building assets. You don't need investors. You don't need luck. You need to ask better questions. Like, what skill do I already have that can be packaged once and sold many times? What am I doing repeatedly that could be turned into a digital product, template, or system? What value can I create that keeps giving, even if I'm not there? Then start small. Turn your process into a checklist. Sell it. Record your lesson. Turn it into a mini course. Write your story. Publish it as an ebook. Share what you know, grow an audience. Trust, monetize later. Every time you stop trading hours and start building something that works without you, you're no longer just working, you're investing in freedom. From employee to asset owner. Employees ask, how much will this job pay me? Asset owners ask, how can I make this once and get paid forever? This is the shift. When you think like a worker, you survive. When you think like an owner, you multiply. You stop measuring time, you start measuring impact. And with enough assets, you reach the point where income flows in, whether you work or walk away. Building outcomes that scale. Now that you understand the power of assets, here's the next question. How do you build outcomes that don't just work once, but scale endlessly? Because that's what the rich do differently. They don't just create income, they create impact that multiplies. They don't just think about what works today, they think, what can I build once that serves thousands, maybe millions? This is the art and the science of scaling outcomes. What does scalable really mean? Scalable means your output grows even when your input doesn't. It means you sell to 1 or 10,000 with the same effort. You teach once and help thousands. You automate once and save years of labor. You create something so valuable it travels faster than you. Scalability is what makes $1,000 a month turn into $10,000 a month with no extra hours. It's how creators become companies. It's how ideas become industries. And most importantly, it's how time becomes irrelevant. The 3 ingredients of scalable outcomes. To build something that scales, you need 3 things. 1. Repeatable value. It solves a problem people have again and again. Example, productivity tools, fitness programs, finance advice. 2. Asynchronous delivery. People can access it without you being there. Example, online courses, books, software, automated funnels. 3. Expandable distribution. It can reach more people without effort increasing. Example, SEO, social media, paid ads, email lists. When you combine all 3, you've built a rocket. And rockets don't need to push every inch of the way. They launch and lift. Poor people create work. Rich people create multipliers. Poor, what else can I do today? Rich, what can I do today that does more tomorrow? Poor, how can I make more in 8 hours? Rich, how can I make more while I sleep? This is how the rich free themselves. They create things that carry value without needing them to carry it. And here's the best part. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be tech savvy. You just need to start building something that grows when shared. Real examples. 1 outcome, unlimited reach. A teacher records 1 masterclass, now 20,000 students take it on autopilot. A YouTuber posts the video once, it gets 2 million views over 3 years. A coach builds a digital tool. Businesses pay monthly to use it. A developer creates a Chrome extension and it's downloaded in 80 countries. These people don't work more, they work once, strategically. Their value is on repeat, and every time someone benefits, they win again. How to start building scalable outcomes today. Here's the truth. If you wait until you're ready, you'll still be working hourly 10 years from now. Start now. Start simple. Turn your most asked advice into a digital product. Record 1 lesson and post it online. Create a PDF guide, checklist, or resource that helps people. Build a template, a calculator, a spreadsheet others can use. Offer value publicly and let it compound with time. Then ask, can this help more people without me? Can this run without constant attention? Can I plug this into a system that grows? If the answer is yes, you've started to scale. Stop chasing reach. Start building repeatability. You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to build something that can go anywhere. The rich don't wake up asking, who do I need to convince today? They wake up knowing something I built yesterday is still working for me now. That's the reward of scaling thinking. That's the power of building outcomes, not just doing tasks. Wealth loves systems, not schedules. Most people wake up and look at their schedule. Rich people wake up and look at their system. One asks, what do I need to do today to make money? The other asks, what is already making me money, even while I sleep? This is a profound difference. It's the difference between chasing time and designing freedom. And it's exactly why wealth doesn't flow to busy people. It flows to people who build systems. Schedules keep you busy. Systems set you free. Let's be clear, a schedule is reactive. A system is proactive. A schedule tells you what time to wake up, what time to work, what time to rest, what time to start all over again tomorrow. A system tells you what's working while you rest, what's automated and earning, what's optimized and scalable, what doesn't need you anymore. One is a cycle, the other is a machine. Poor people fill their calendar. Rich people escape from it. The trap of being productive. Productivity is a trap if it's not moving you toward freedom. You can be fully booked, always on time, constantly responding, always showing up, and still be stuck in a life you don't own. Why? Because being productive is not the same as being free. You're just a highly efficient prisoner, and your chains are made of tasks. The rich don't aim to be busy. They aim to be exponential. Rich people don't manage time. They manage systems. While the poor build routines, the rich build engines. They say, I don't need to work 8 hours if my system works 24. I'd rather spend 100 hours building something that saves me 10,000. I'm not optimizing my time, I'm replacing it. That's how wealth is built. Not by adding more to your day, but by removing yourself from what drains your day. They ask, can this task be eliminated, automated, or delegated? Can I plug this into a system instead of doing it manually forever? Can I create a process once that outperforms me over time? If yes, they do it, and they never touch it again. Freedom isn't about having time. It's about controlling the flow of time. Think about this. You can have a clear schedule, but if you still depend on your presence to earn, you're not free. You're just idle. True freedom is when income flows without your permission. Value moves through systems you built. Results continue regardless of your schedule. This is why the rich don't celebrate weekends, because their systems don't take breaks. Their impact doesn't clock out on Friday evening. Their growth doesn't pause on Friday evening. How to start building your own wealth system. You don't need a corporation. You need a structure. Start with this framework. Capture value you already know, write it, film it, teach it, package it into a product, ebook, course, template, service, distribute through platforms, YouTube, email, Shopify, Gumroad, automate delivery, Stripe, Zapier, email responders, refine the system as feedback grows, repeat with the next layer of value, and step back. The goal is not to get more done. The goal is to build once, earn forever. Schedules are linear. Systems are infinite. A schedule rewards you once. A system rewards you again and again and again. If your wealth still relies on your ability to show up, it's not really wealth. It's a countdown to burnout. But if your value flows through a system, you've built something immortal, something that makes money while you live a life. And that's the difference between surviving and scaling. Your time is not your product. Let's say it plainly. Your time is not your product. Your time is your seed. Your time is your tool, but it should never be the thing you sell. Because once you turn your time into a product, you put a price tag on your life and you devalue everything else you could have built instead. When you sell time, you sell your limits. Let's get real. Time is finite. Your energy is finite. Your ability to focus is finite. So if your business model, your income, your career are all based on the number of hours you work, then you've locked your success inside a shrinking box. Every time you earn money by the hour, you're telling the world, the only thing I can offer you is my presence. You can't access my value unless I'm physically here. I only matter when I'm active. That's not wealth. That's wage slavery in a suit. Your value is bigger than your calendar. Here's what the wealthy understand. You are not your availability. You are not your shift. You are not your time card. You are your ideas, systems, assets, insights, solutions, vision, impact. These things are not bound by time. They live in what you create, not how long you sit at a desk. When you treat your time as the product, you reduce yourself to a commodity. But when you treat your outcomes as the product, you become a creator of lasting value. Stop selling hours. Start creating assets. Every hour you sell dies at the end of that shift, but every asset you build lives beyond you. Let's compare. Sell time. Do the work. Get paid. Stop working. Get nothing. Start again tomorrow. Create value. Do the work once. Build an asset. Asset keeps working. Income continues. Time becomes optional. Which one sounds like freedom? Time should be a tool, not a transaction. Time is meant to build, not to be traded. It's the most powerful resource you'll ever own, and if you spend it on things that don't scale, you're pouring gold into a bucket with no bottom. Ask yourself, am I spending time or investing it? Does this hour disappear or does it multiply? Am I the product or am I producing something greater than me? Poor people sell time to feel useful. Rich people use time to create something useful. Reframe your identity. You are not a worker. You are a creator. This is the real mindset shift. You are not here to clock in. You are here to build something that outlasts you. You don't get wealthy by offering your time. You get wealthy by offering your results. And results, when packaged properly, can be bought, licensed, shared, automated, multiplied, scaled, and separated from your time completely. The goal is not to be fully booked. The goal is to be fully leveraged. Because if all you ever do is sell your hours, you'll always be one day away from financial collapse, one illness away from losing income, one layoff away from restarting your life. But if you build something that lives outside your hours, then even when you rest, you're still rewarded. Even when you sleep, you're still scaling. Even when you're gone, your work lives on. That's legacy. That's freedom. That's wealth. How to shift from hourly thinking to outcome thinking. You're here because deep down, you know something has to change. You're tired of trading time for money. You're tired of always starting over at zero. You're tired of feeling like you're working harder but not moving forward. So here's the question that matters now. How do you actually shift from hourly thinking to outcome thinking? Because mindset without action is just motivation. Let's make this transformation real. Step 1. Stop measuring in hours. Start measuring in results. Starting today, eliminate this question. How long will this take? Replace it with, what result will this create and for how long? Ask yourself, what's the long-term value of this task? Will this still matter next month, next year? Is this just work, or am I building something? If your effort dies with the hour, it's time to redirect it. Step 2. Identify the value you already create. You don't have to invent something new. You just have to recognize what you already know. Look at your life. Ask, what do people constantly ask me for help with? What skill have I mastered over time? What result do I create for others without even thinking? These are your outcomes in disguise. Package them, systemize them, turn them into products, services, templates, tools, content, solutions. Remember, you don't get paid for the effort, you get paid for the transformation. Step 3. Build something once that works more than once. This is the golden rule of outcome thinking. One-time effort, long-term return. Ask yourself daily, can I turn this into a repeatable process? Can this be recorded, published, or distributed? Can someone else do this with the system I design? Stop restarting. Start recording, documenting, and automating. If you solve the same problem twice, you should be getting paid passively the second time. Step 4. Think like a creator, not just a worker. Workers say, tell me what to do. Creators say, what can I build that keeps giving? You are not here to clock in. You are here to build systems, content, value, outcomes. From now on, build things that others can use. Publish ideas that live beyond your presence. Design workflows that function without your hands. You are not a task machine. You are a leverage engine, if you choose to be. Step 5. Stop chasing immediate payoffs. Hourly thinking is addicted to instant returns. If I don't get paid today, it's not worth doing. If this doesn't earn this week, it's a waste. Outcome thinking sees farther. This may not pay now, but it can pay me forever. This month I build, next month it pays. Build like a farmer, not like a gambler. Plant, nurture, harvest. The results will come and keep coming. Step 6. Replace your daily to-do list with a builder's blueprint. Stop filling your day with random tasks. Start filling it with multipliers. Every morning ask, what can I create today that gives me more freedom tomorrow? Am I solving once or cycling endlessly? Will what I do today serve one person or 1,000? This will feel slow at first, but that's because you're building foundations, not sandcastles. Step 7. Surround yourself with outcome thinkers. Your environment is your momentum. Spend time with people who ask, what are you building? How are you scaling it? How can you automate it? Get around builders, not just busy people. Their mindset will upgrade yours. Their questions will challenge your excuses. Their actions will show you what's possible. And when you change your circle, you accelerate your shift. Final reminder, you are always building something. Every hour you spend is either building your next paycheck or building your future independence. Hourly thinkers wait for permission. Outcome thinkers give themselves direction. And once you make this shift, you'll never go back, because you'll taste what freedom actually feels like. creating without clocking in, scaling without showing up, earning without exhaustion, living without asking for time off. You are not here to trade time. You are here to design outcomes that set you free. Don't die in the hourly loop. Let's stop pretending. Let's speak to truth most people are too afraid to face. If you don't shift your mindset now, you'll spend the rest of your life earning just enough to survive, but never enough to be free. You'll wake up, work, rest, repeat, year after year, until your body can't, and your dreams become memories of what you could have done if only you had thought differently. That's the hourly loop, and it's killing more potential than poverty ever will. The loop is designed to keep you comfortable and controlled. It whispers, "This is how it's always been. You have bills to pay. Don't risk it. Just be grateful for what you have." It teaches you to trade your time, obey the schedule, fear the unknown, repeat the cycle. And before you know it, you've given the best years of your life to jobs that replaced you in a day, to bosses who never knew your name, and to routines that stole your soul. You don't escape the loop by accident. You escape it by refusing to die inside it. If you don't choose leverage, time will choose decay. Your energy is fading, your time is passing, your windows are closing. So ask yourself, will I spend my life measuring it in hours, or will I measure it in outcomes, freedom, and impact? If you don't build something that works without you, you will always be the product, and products wear out. But if you build outcomes, if you create assets, if you invest in systems, then even when you sleep, your life keeps moving forward. That's how you win. That's how you live. That's how you leave something behind. You're not trapped, you're just not thinking big enough. You may not have money right now. You may not have time. You may not have the perfect idea. But you have one thing that changes everything: a choice. A choice to stop selling hours, start building value, think in results, act in systems, move from survival to scalability. The door is open, but only if you walk through it. One thought can change everything. Just one mindset shift from "how much will I get paid today" to "what can I build today that pays me forever" can alter the course of your entire life. It's not just about money. It's about ownership of your time, your worth, your legacy. You were not born to live in someone else's calendar. You were born to design your own outcomes and live by them. Final words. Become a builder of outcomes, not a prisoner of hours. This is your wake-up call. This is your turning point. This is your invitation to build something bigger than your schedule. Because one day, your body will rest, your voice will fade, and the only thing that will remain is what you created while you were alive. Don't let that be a list of shifts. Let it be a system. Let it be a movement. Let it be a legacy. Don't die in the hourly loop. Build outcomes that make time irrelevant. Start today or stay stuck forever. The choice is yours.